So while the Browns offense was almost unstoppable with 3 75-yard drives in the game, the Giants defense played well. They just struggled getting off the football field. The Giants offense without Daniel Jones was stuck in mud for most of the night. And for that side of the story, let's go to my colleague John Chandler at MetLife Stadium. John?
Well, Bruce, with Colt McCoy starting in place of Daniel Jones, you knew they had to be almost perfect to keep up with a Browns offense that operates at the pace of a video game sometimes, as we saw tonight and certainly as we saw against the Ravens last week. And to be honest, Colt McCoy had plays that were there to be made. Tonight, he made some plays early, a couple of big gains, one to Sterling Shepard, one to Darius Slayton, and the Giants looked like they could make something of this against the Browns. But in the end, on that first drive, on third down, a pass to Evan Engram that was too high. That would have been 6. That's one that Colt McCoy certainly wishes he had back. And then on that second drive that the Giants had, a play to Engram in the end zone broken up, and then had Slayton just at the 1 by the pylon. Maybe a better thrown ball ends up as a touchdown there. At the end of the day, just not enough good players on this Giants team to hang with the Cleveland Browns. And Baker Mayfield, who rarely missed. When you compare the two quarterbacks, the numbers are startling for Baker Mayfield, especially, Bruce, as you mentioned in that first half, 17 of 19 for 172, 297 yards, 27 of 32 passing the ball with 2 touchdowns. Bruce, night and day at the quarterback position.
And John, total yards in this game, Cleveland 392, Giants 282, and another big thing was the red zone. The Giants were 0 for 3 in the red zone, and the Browns were 3 for 3. Cleveland scoring touchdowns almost at will once they got inside the 20-yard line. Hey, let's talk some fourth downs, because Joe Judge went for a couple of gimmicks, and he also went for it on fourth down the way Tom Coughlin used to go for it on fourth down, and maybe he sensed the fact that against this high-powered Browns offense, he had to get points. Let's go back to the fake field goal. This was early in the game on the opening drive, 4th and 5 at the 8-yard line, and the punter throws the pass to the center. Riley Dixon to Nick Gates. It wasn't really close on the play. The Giants had marched down the field nicely on this drive, but they went for 6 instead of 3, and they came up empty in that situation. So that really hurt the Giants in the ball game. And when you think about the possibilities and all the things that were going on, it was obviously a situation where they didn't come through and they didn't get points. Now let's go to the second quarter in this game. Another fourth down opportunity for the Giants. It was 4th and 2 at the Cleveland 6. And Wayne Gallman comes up short on this rushing attack, gets maybe a yard. Cleveland takes over. The Giants had gone 12 plays for 68 yards. They had chewed up 7 minutes and 15 seconds, but to come away empty with no points, that was frustrating. And then the Browns answered shortly thereafter, going 10 plays, 95 yards in 4 minutes and 55 seconds to go up by a score of 13-3. So, John, that was a big point in this game. Giants unable to score, and then the Browns marched down the field with one of those 3 long drives.
Yeah, that gamble on 4th and 1 works if you can count on your defense to then stop the offense of the Browns from going 95 yards the other way. But we've learned that the Browns offense pretty unstoppable, and I think that's kind of a window into the decision-making tonight with Freddie Kitchens and Joe Judge calling their plays and especially taking those gambles. Riley Dixon and Nick Gates, shocking that doesn't work out, right? A punter to a center. But it was there, and if it does work, it's a brilliant call, right? And if they roll the dice on 4th and 1 and Gallman picks up 2 or gets into the end zone, it's a brilliant call, and all of a sudden, this looks a little bit different with the Giants and the Browns. But Joe Judge explained that they wanted touchdowns in this game to hang with Cleveland. Field goals weren't going to cut it.
Yeah, field goals weren't going to win this game. So, look, I'm not afraid to call things aggressively. I'm not afraid if I think we have a good scheme and a kicking game to call a fake. I'm not afraid to run the ball 4th and 1. and we'll play to our defense at times. If we don't get that, we've got to go out there and stand up defense. Our defense has done that consistently throughout the year. We're going to play the strengths of our team. But look, I'm not afraid to call it aggressively. We went into this game with that mindset. We're going to call this thing aggressively, and we're going to play it aggressively. And when you make calls like that, you let your players understand that you have confidence in them and that they can play the game aggressively. So we have confidence in our players. I want them to go out and play aggressively. I can't tell them all week that they have to go into this game with an aggressive mindset and then hold them back at some point where we feel we have a chance to make a play.
So the coach having confidence in his calls and the decisions that he made and being aggressive out there. And Bruce, I know the school of thought, take the points. And at one point, had the Giants done that with the 2 field goals, it's a 9-7 game. But Joe Judge knew deep down it wasn't going to stay 9-7 for long against this Cleveland team. Bottom line, Giants just need better talent to hang with a Browns team like this.
You have to score points, John, and they haven't been able to score points this season. They're second from the bottom in the NFL. Only the Jets have scored less points, and now that's 4 straight ball games. The Giants have scored 20 points or less. And it's very funny because first the fans were shouting the Giants couldn't win with Daniel Jones. Now they are yelling they can't win without him. Tonight it was Colt McCoy making the start for the second time. So this is where we're at right now in terms of the standings. Giants still have a chance, but those chances are dwindling. The Washington football team is 6-8. The Giants are 5-9, now tied with Dallas. Keep in mind the Giants beat Dallas, but still play Dallas again in the final game of the year. Philly is 4-9-1. Philly has Dallas and Washington remaining. Washington has Carolina and Philly, and the Giants have a very tough matchup in Baltimore next week at 1 o'clock. And Baltimore is 9-5 and playing really good football. Another team that can score points, so another challenge for the Giants. Let's go back to John Chandler for some more post-game reaction from MetLife Stadium as the Giants fall for the second straight game. John?
And Bruce, the bottom line is the Giants have to find ways to get touchdowns here, and you wonder what Daniel Jones' availability is going to be going forward for those last 2 games as he tries to come back from the hamstring strain that has been lingering and now the ankle sprain that kept him out this Sunday. Colt McCoy found a little bit of rhythm early on with his receivers, Sterling Shepard especially, and Sterling talking after the game just moments ago about how that offense needs to find a little bit of a groove in what's left of this season.
To be honest, I throw that stuff underneath the rug, and I'm really focused on what we got next week. We have a big challenge ahead of us, and we got to get our eyes on Baltimore. We're not totally out of this thing, so we got to prepare, and that's honestly where my focus is.
I love where the team's at. I've never been 1-7 before either, but we fought, and we fought, and we fought, and counted out. Left for dead, and we won some games, surprised some people who didn't believe in us, and then everyone believed in us. Now people don't believe again. So it doesn't matter. Honestly, it doesn't matter. We are where we are, and we got 2 games in front of us where we got to go out there and win.
I think there's something to take from what you hear there with Sterling Shepard and Joe Judge earlier about this team. These players have confidence in this coach. They believe he's the right coach. Seems like he's the right coach. And I know, Bruce, this is the headline of 8 losing records now in 9 years. But a losing record, honestly, was expected with this Giants team this season. To turn it around the way they have going forward, I think there's a lot to build on, even though we're talking about a loss here tonight.
And there's a lot of positives, as you say, with Coach Joe Judge. The Giants believe, I think John Mara believes, Dave Gettleman believes they found something. Leonard Williams had a much better year. Logan Ryan came in. Jabril Peppers continues to improve. The offensive line still needs help. There are definitely areas where the Giants need overall depth. But because the NFC East was so weak this year, it made the season compelling because we never thought we'd be talking about a meaningful football game in December. But the bottom line for the Giants, over the last 62 games, folks, 17-45. That just won't cut it. And the most wins they've had in the season the last 4 years is 5, which is where they're standing right now. So you can look at the glass half full or half empty. Offensively tonight, Colt McCoy, 16 for 28, 194 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. He is 8-22 as a starter. He is a solid starter in the league as a backup, and he got the opportunity to play again tonight, but just couldn't get the job done. Here's Colt after the ball game.
Yeah, just didn't finish drives, right? First half, I felt like, we didn't even punt. So we were moving the ball. We shot ourselves in the foot. We went for it on fourth down, and down tight and came up a half short. So those are huge plays in a game like this that we've got to make. If we want to go for it on fourth down with a fake field goal, we got to convert it. Like, that's just, you want to win football games, that's what we got to do.
Hey, Colt McCoy is a pro. He just couldn't get the job done tonight. Neither could the Giants, especially John, on fourth down. Final thoughts from you from MetLife Stadium.
Hey, the final thought has been the theme throughout this season. They are still alive in the playoff race. Slim as that hope may be, it's still there. Let's see what they do with the Ravens next week. And then January 3rd against the Cowboys. Still have that one circled on the calendar. Who knows in this NFC East, Bruce?
Giants can get eliminated next week, but they also can pop right back into the picture. That's how crazy this NFC East is, and nothing is predictable. This is 2020, and the NFC East definitely mirrors what this year's been like, because Washington finishes with Carolina and Philly, and I can't tell you what's going to happen. Great job out there, John. We'll speak to you soon. Be safe. Have a Merry Christmas.
Okay.